Welcome to Dear Dana. It's a special day today. We are welcoming someone in.
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted. You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head. I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares. Send it right.
Sorry,
But if I lay
we're having technical difficulties here. But we're going to have a special guest today. Sorry for the dead air. Welcome to Dear Dana. Come on in. We're going to have a special guest today. Just technical difficulties. We're going to have Mr. Brian Smith.
I feel like you think that this amusing. Sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I delusional?
Shake it off.
I'm the one who's always
Deep breath
sorry.
work.
The conclusion.
Inhale in.
Even though I offer all of the solutions.
Hold
I wish
it.
you loved me like I love you. It's stupid.
Exhale out.
When I'm alone with you, I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't
Inhale
struck
in.
by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you, I knew this.
Exhale
When I'm
out.
with you, I
Well,
feel
come
so
on in.
useless. I
Come
feel
on into the chat.
dilated. My heart's been wounded.
No worries.
Silhouettes of
And
you are
welcome
like
in
a
the bushes
taunt.
too.
Never really know
Hey,
just
I'm
what
going
you
to drop the link
want. With you, I don't ever
for
feel
Mr. Brian
calm.
Smith.
I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a
We
string.
just had a few
You
logistical
don't understand the
issues.
pain it brings. You don't ever want to give me wings.
Hello,
You don't ever
Brian.
want to set me free.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get
You
sick
can
of
just
being the monster
let it loose in your seat.
under my bed.
Let the stress go for Friday. Let Brian on up too. This is the way we start off, just to release all the stress. And I'm about to let it go so we can let Brian on up. Hey, Steve, Sheila's one. This is my Aussie friend and mod. Okay, let me go ahead and drop that sound. It's a vibe. Okay, instead of throwing down the countdown, I decided to throw down music and let people move their bodies and release stress. And we usually do breath work that way. So they're not like bored doing breath work.
Yeah.
But welcome, Mr. Brian Smith from Grief to Growth. He has his own YouTube channel that you can check out, and I will put under the video when it's over. He is part of our crew, Mr. Shoeless One, Steve, who's also my mod, recently lost his daughter. So he has become part of helping parents heal as well. And we always have people in the bushes watching, always.
Yeah.
So I wanted to welcome Brian back. He's been here before. He also has a book out. I don't know if you have one near you,
I don't have one with me now.
but I have it in the thumbnail.
Yeah. Yes. So
And
the
tell them
title's
about
Grief to Growth, so it's on Amazon, so it's easy to find. Grief, the number 2 growth.
So it's very helpful as well. If you want to quickly tell them a little bit about your channel before we go into the other.
Sure. Well, my channel, I have a YouTube channel. It's Grief, the number 2 growth. I interview people who have been through traumatic events, people who have been through grief events. A lot of people, afterlife experts. I think that's really important. So a lot of near-death experiencers, people that communicate with the afterlife mediums, stuff like that. People who have overcome just pretty much anything. So I've got about 200 interviews out there now. So it's I've been doing it for about 3 years, so it's a pretty good backlog of interviews out there that people can watch.
Yeah, I was early in his interviews,
Yeah, yeah, you were, yeah,
terrified, and now I'm doing this. So
yeah, yeah. You're doing a great job. Yeah,
thank you, because when I first did it, I almost canceled on him. So talking about growth, yeah,
yeah. Well, we all uncomfortable when we start. I've been doing it for 3 years now, so it gets easier as you go along.
yeah, absolutely, it does. And I'm still trying to figure all of this YouTube stuff out a year and a half in. So
Yeah,
it does.
the technology can be challenging. There's so many different ways to do it. So yeah, cool. Well, we just had a little issue this because I was like, how do I get into StreamYard? So this is my first time
You
doing it
don't
this
use
way.
StreamYard?
I don't. No, I don't. I use Zoom. I record my videos.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, because you record and then put them on, yeah?
Right, right.
Okay, gotcha. And I do all mine live and all the bloopers just land.
Yeah, that's fine. Live is good too. I don't do a lot of editing, but I just started with Zoom. I'll probably switch to something else at some point, but that is a really easy way to get started. Everybody knows Zoom. Everybody has a Zoom account. Sometimes with the other platforms, you have trouble getting people to get into the room.
Yeah, that's true. And there's so many rules on this platform.
Mm,
Lots of rules. Can't say certain words. You get docked and this and that and the other, so you have to go figure out what you did wrong. Yeah.
yeah.
But I brought Brian on today because he started mentioning a free summit, a free trauma summit. And right now, yes, he says Zoom is really handy. Yeah. He mentioned a free trauma summit. And I'm so very passionate. Of course, because, I'm a trained psychotherapist. And now more than ever, our world, our country has been under such trauma, and mental health is so apparently needed to be addressed more than ever, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And so many people, because of the stigma attached, because of maybe the communities they've been in, or how they've been raised, or what have you, are hesitant to get the help they need.
Yeah,
And when you
yeah,
came forth and said, we're doing a trauma summit, it's free, I mean, all my bells went off.
yeah.
So tell us about it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The thing is, we've been our between the politics that we've been going through and the pandemic and the natural disasters, we're all going through some sort of trauma. And so the summit it's the nice thing is it's online, it's free, there's no travel. You can be anonymous because, as you said, there is a stigma associated with reaching out for help sometimes. There are going to be 35, somewhere between 35 and 40 speakers. It's October 6th through 9th. And if you sign up, you can watch it live or you can get the videos. So it's really a no risk thing for people to get involved in. And the idea is help people again to deal with their trauma, to deal with the stress, to deal with their anxiety. There's gonna be a lot of people that are they're experts on healing, on techniques to heal, things that you can actually do. So it's gonna be really incredible. And I was just talking with one of the organizers yesterday. We were hoping for somewhere between 10 and 15,000 people. We've already signed up 50,000 people.
Wow.
So you can tell it's really needed. People are really gravitating to it. So there's no risk. There's no risk for people to sign up. So I just tell everybody just go ahead and sign up, and as I said, you'll get the replays even if you can't watch it live.
I just feel like this is a chance of a lifetime. I mean, the cost associated with getting these kind of speakers and tools and opportunities to touch on learning about your trauma, getting tools for your trauma, um, connecting in that way with other people would
Hmm.
just the cost alone would be magnanimous.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is a way to just to understand what resources are available, also because people don't know where to go or what's available. So there's different levels of getting assistance. This would be the first levels of attend a summit like this, and then maybe you reach out to somebody and go more in depth with them. But finding out what's available, energy healing, a lot of people don't know about, for example, or hypnosis. There are lots of really great tools out there that people don't know about. It's not just going to your doctor and getting an antidepressant, which is what a lot of people. That's what your doctor is going to do. They're going to give you drugs, and drugs don't really help, in my opinion. They can be a short-term crutch. They can help you get through that really bad thing, but you've got to address the trauma. And if you don't, it just keeps coming back and makes you sick. And so once you address it, though, you can kind of you can put it behind you a little bit, to so to speak.
Um, I address some of that on here and shadow work. I, Steve and I have done live energy healing on here
Mm-hmm.
where a lady had deep red, angry rashes and stuff from head to toe. Had gone to doctors, they'd given her pills, they'd given her um, creams. It had gone on for a long time, and I felt like some of it was more deep seated,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing was healing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, we can try some energy work from a distance. I make no promises, none, but we can try it from a distance if you're willing, and we can see what happens. And we did. And in a few days, she came back with photos, the before and after, and it was all but gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we've tried it on other things with people, and we don't do it frequently because I can make no guarantees. And it works.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we don't know exactly what causes disease in the body. Some people say it's all spiritual. I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that energy healing does work, and I do know that sometimes, at least, the disease that we're having is a physical manifestation of something that's going on in our spirit, and it comes through the spirit and it manifests in the body if we don't address it. Reiki. It's funny because the medical community is starting to recognize alternative medicine, which is what we were using for thousands of years before. But Reiki healing, for example, I know works. I've
Yeah.
seen it work. I've been trained in Reiki myself, so it can't hurt. It can't hurt to try these things. It doesn't mean don't go to your doctor. You
No.
should. Western medicine has its place, but it also there's other things that can actually work very well. And so, like I said, with the summit, you're going to see different modalities of healing. You're going to talk. And in my podcast, I've interviewed all kinds of healers. From Reiki to massage therapists to acupuncture. Acupuncture is getting a lot of recognition now in the Western world. So it's I think we're just kind of catching up with people known for thousands of years. These things, Reiki and acupuncture, been around for a long time, and people do them because they work.
Yeah. I mean, I studied quantum, I mean, Reiki, and then I went on to quantum, and then I went on
Mm-hmm.
to energy. And then for some reason, something in me combined them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's my philosophy because I come from a background of science that Western and science and spiritual sort of combine themselves. And that's the best case scenario
Right. Right.
when they all do combine themselves instead of pulling apart.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. As I said, there's a place for all of it. And what we've done, we've gone so far from the natural healing and energy healing to say, well, everything has got to be physical. So it's got to be take a pill or have a surgery or whatever. And it can be both. You can address it both ways. If you have a broken leg, for example, you don't need Reiki. You need a cast. You
Yeah.
know, you so there's a place for both of those things. But if you've got a long term disorder like a rash or something, that could be a manifestation of something that needs to be addressed internally. And you can't argue with the success. And I've seen people that have done miraculous things with energy healing.
Yeah, and like I've been trained in hypnosis, and
Hmm.
there were a lot of studies that we did. If you do hypnosis on somebody prior to surgery, their pain reduction is lowered. Their ability to heal faster occurs.
Hmm.
Their ability to get out of the hospital quicker occurs. So there's a lot going on there. And I'm a firm believer too that mental health affects your physical health,
Hmm.
affects
Well,
disease.
Well, we know it does. We know, for example, ulcers, migraines. We accept that those things are manifestations of stress
Yeah.
of your mental health. So why can't it be other things as well? High blood pressure can be a manifestation of stress. So if you can reduce those things, and I both come from a scientific background. I'm an
Yeah.
engineer. They've done blind studies where they've told people they've had surgery and they've just used energy healing on, like for example, on their knee, and the pain's gone, and they haven't even had the surgery. So that's been studied. So it's the idea that, like I said, you can do both things. And so I like to do it on my show, and what we're doing with the summit is talking about some different ways to address trauma and stress, etc. There's a guy, Johan Hari, wrote a book called Lost Connections, which I just love. This book, I've read it like 3 or 4 times, and he's
I
done a
need to
TED
read it.
talk. And he's like, he was on antidepressants. And again, I'm not saying people should not take antidepressants, but he's like, if you're sad for a reason, we have to address the reason why you're sad. We just can't give you a pill and call you depressed and say it's a brain chemistry thing. So, a lot of people are sad or stressed or whatever for a reason. They've got trauma in their life, or something's going on in their life. We have to address that. And in the book Lost Connections, one of the things he talks about is how lonely that we all are. Even though we live in, with billions of people on the planet, a lot of people feel alone. And once they address that, once people find purpose in their life, once they find connections in their lives, a lot of these other issues just kind of fade away.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like, and it's not that you shouldn't do it sometimes, but I feel like people using texting more than not, instead of speaking to people,
Hmm.
is exacerbating some of the loneliness.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I won't out this person, but I was just talking to someone the other day, and they were in a long text conversation with another person. And I said, why don't you just call them? But we've gotten in the habit of, text is fine. Text is great. If you're in a place where you can't talk, you need to send off a quick message. I get it. I understand that. But sometimes you need to just pick up the phone and talk to somebody. Get on a Zoom call, look them face to face. It's not the same thing as when you're texting people.
It's more of an energy exchange,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where texting is not. If you think about it, texting is not an energy exchange.
Right. You're missing that human to human connection. And I think that's one of the issues we've got in our society. Because, and like I said, it's funny because when my friend first started texting me, I was like, "Why are you texting me?" This was years ago. I said, "I don't understand this. This is a backward step in technology. We
Yeah.
can actually talk to each other, and you want to send me a text." And even today, I find myself sometimes, it's like, okay, I'm just going to pick up the phone,
Yeah.
and I know it's considered rude to call somebody now without telling you're going to call. But if you need to have a long conversation, or you're trying to work out something that's emotional, you can't do it through text. You can't get the energy exchange. You can't hear the intonations in their voice. We communicate through more than just words. We communicate in lots of different ways.
It causes more conflict, texting,
It does. Yeah, it does.
because you might not know the way of which they meant something, and
Hmm.
you make too many assumptions.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. So, yeah, that human connection, and that's I think one of the biggest problem. I think that is the number one problem we have on the planet today. Is that, well, two things. One is we don't know who we are, and the other is we don't realize that we're all one. That people feel lonely, people feel isolated, and people feel like, what's my purpose in life? Why am I even living? What's the how did I get here? All those things. It's like we've got amnesia, and so trying to help people recover that. Once you figure that out, everything else becomes easier. I was talking to someone earlier today, and they're like, they said, "Well, this doesn't make it easy." I said, "No, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier.
Right.
It takes the edge of it off. It gives you some purpose, and when you have purpose in your life, when you know why you're going through something, you can go through pretty much anything."
Exactly. And the younger ones, the late teens and 20s, um, there there's so many of them being diagnosed psychologically.
Hmm.
And if they're going to therapy, I think it's a great thing. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, that's my field. But that being said, I will tell them first and foremost, take your spiritual route too, figure that part out along with the other part,
Hmm.
and a lot of that may fall away.
Absolutely, 100%. And it's interesting because I talk to a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists, and my daughter's a mental health therapist. She's a mental health counselor, and there's a definite place for that. But like, for example, psychiatrists, I'm starting to realize they're basically pill pushers. They're giving you pills, and
Hmm.
at least psychologists, you're doing talk therapy. But if no one's addressing who you really are, I don't see how they can really help you with that deep angst that people are going through. Again,
That's
that loneliness, that sadness of feeling like you don't have a purpose. I think you got to really be able to address it. And the great thing is there are people that are doing it now. There are people that are combining their psychology or their psychiatry even with knowing who people are.
yeah. I mean, and that's my field, and that's what bothered me because I'm like, don't diagnose first and then try to do the therapy.
Right.
Find out who they are so some of that can drop away before you're trying to give them a diagnosis. I don't like that
Yeah. Yeah.
because they don't even know who they are yet. They don't know who they are.
Well, for insurance purposes, you have to diagnose people, right? Because you have to have something to put on the form.
Yeah, but
And I've learned this from my daughter because she's like, the first thing we have to do is we have to have a diagnosis so insurance will pay. And
yeah,
I'm like, okay, I get that. You got to play the game, but you really need to. And in her case, this example, and this Johan Hari talked about this also. They're like, oh, this person's depressed. Okay, well, they're living on the street. You know, maybe if they weren't living on the street, they wouldn't be depressed. They're about to lose. They're about to lose their home, or the kids have been taken away from them. And it's like people are looking like, well, why are you sad? You must be depressed. No, I'm stressed out because I don't know where I'm gonna sleep tonight. So that's the thing we have to address in our society, as opposed to just giving everybody a pill and saying there's something wrong with your brain chemistry.
this is
'Cause
sorry.
no, I think it's a loop. I think our brain chemistry is affected by our emotions and our thoughts, and vice versa. So it's like, how do we break that cycle? And we can try it with drugs, and I said drugs can be a good thing temporarily, but we've got to address the underlying condition. You know, because there is chemical imbalance. I'm not saying there's
Yeah,
not. There definitely is, but not all of us are chemically imbalanced, and they're putting so many people on drugs now and claiming that we're all chemically imbalanced, as this is not true.
but this is the whole insurance thing and having to just write a diagnosis so insurance will pay is why you see so many therapists falling off and calling themselves life coaches.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's exactly why.
yeah, yeah. That's. I'm a life coach, and my daughter's kind of funny because she's like, "Dad, you're not a therapist." I'm like, "You're right. I'm not a therapist." We a life coach is like, what's your what's your purpose, what's your goal, what are you trying to accomplish? We don't do a lot of like going back into your past and trying to figure out why you are. We can do but that's we're not analysts. We're
Yeah,
more like, okay, what's your life purpose, what's your life goal, what do you want to accomplish, what makes you feel good, what lights you up, and then we make a plan. How do you get there? And therapists are not allowed to give advice, for example,
yeah.
which they're not supposed to tell personal stories. My daughter was going through school, and she's like, "Well, we're not supposed to talk about ourselves." I want my clients to be able to relate to me. I want them to know that I'm a human being and I care about them. And so I tell stories about myself so they can see themselves in me. My daughter is who passed away 7 years ago behind me. That's why she's on my wall because I want people to know this is why I do what I do.
Right.
And if I can do it, you can too. And I
Yeah.
struggle, and I tell them about how I struggle, and I tell them what techniques I use to overcome that struggle. So we have more of a peer to peer relationship where I'm a few steps ahead of them, but I'm here to let them know I'm a human being too, and people want to be witnessed and they want to be feel like you care about them.
Right. Yeah, I get it. Oh, Lord have mercy. The system drives me crazy.
It drives everybody crazy, and that's the thing is, and if you push back against the system, they tell you that you're crazy. If you say there's something wrong with our system today, then people are like, well, there's something wrong with you. No, our system is messed up. We young people, I feel sorry for kids these days. They're looking at it, and it's sad because the big thing is YOLO. You only live once.
Hmm.
Because they feel like I'm never going to have a house. I'm not going to ever be able to afford a house, so I might as well not even try. I'm not going to be able to live the lifestyle that my parents have lived. Where this is the first generation that feels that way. They may actually have shorter lifespans, which is really crazy considering the medical advances we've had. And so they're kind of lost, in a lot of ways, because we've done a really terrible job of telling people who they are. The things we should be teaching in school, like mindfulness, for example. You got certain people say, "Yeah, you can't teach meditation in school because that's religious." Mindfulness is so helpful to everybody. I had to learn it when I was in my 30s. I would have been so much better off if somebody had taught me this when I was 5 years old.
Yeah. I mean, look, you just the YouTube. Look on YouTube, right? If you're chaotic, if you're dramatic, if you're all of that, and I'm not going to say all of it's negative, I'm not going to say that. But if you're more n- in the negative area, you will blow up.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're more helpful, if you're more caring, if you're trying to teach people meditation, if you're trying to teach them what we're all talking about, what the world needs,
Hmm.
you will go slow.
Yeah.
And that is a signal about what is going on in the world to me.
Yes. Yes, it is. Again, it comes back to people not really knowing who they are, not knowing what's important. We have a collective amnesia and we have individual amnesia. And I look at it as we're walking around. Rumi calls this a dream, and Rumi says only a sleeper considers it real. And the goal of life is to wake up in the dream, to become lucid and understand that this is a dream. And when you do, it starts to make more sense. But if you look at this world and think that this is all there is, and I'm a cosmic accident, there was this big bang several billion years ago, and all these things collide together, and then man just kind of sprang forth, and we don't know where we came from, we don't know where we're going. Of course, you're going to feel lost. Of course, you're going to feel like what's the point? What's the point of any of this? So that's the thing that I believe that some of us are here to overcome. And as you said, we're like a voice crying out in the wilderness. So, when you're on YouTube and you try to offer people stuff, and people are just like, they'd rather tune in and drop out and tune in, or watch crap on TV. I'm just there's a show right now that's blowing up on Netflix, and I can't believe people are watching it.
What is it?
Um, Dahmer.
Oh, yeah, I haven't I can't.
I'm like, I'm not. I watch gory stuff. I watch horror stuff. I'm into all that, but I'm like, what this obsession with Dahmer it disturbs me. I have to say, why would anybody watch that? But
I
I,
haven't been able to even I can't.
and my point is, I guess people are so attracted to that is what kind of it's kind of
Darkness.
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I had an NDE, and that was a lifetime of me seeking because to me everything has a purpose, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was seeking, 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 trying to find answers, and gifts would open up, and then I had Noah.
Yeah.
Then things started making sense.
Yeah.
Then I lost Noah, and you and I both, and Steve, know how gutting that is.
Mhm.
But then more things start opening up,
Mhm.
and we know about our connection with our children,
Mhm.
and we know they're still alive in a different way, but they're
Right.
still alive, and the connection is there. And this is
Yeah.
a whole other thing.
Absolutely, and the thing is, it's interesting when people have near-death experiences, they often come back, if often, almost always, more sensitive.
Yeah,
Sensitive to food, sensitive to light, air, whatever, sensitive to negative vibrations, so,
yeah,
and I studied near-death experiences a lot. I've interviewed a lot of people that had near-death experiences, and that changes you too.
yeah.
And so I guess I'm becoming more sensitive. There's certain things, like I said, I do watch gory stuff. I'm not here to judge anybody, but
But
like I'm just not into true crime. I just can't do that. I don't want to watch something where I know someone hurt somebody, and I'm going to watch a reenactment of it. That's just I can't do that. Um,
yeah, I can't watch stuff in like that anymore. I
yeah,
have to walk away.
yeah, because again, I think we become more sensitive to the vibration of it. So but the thing is, like we were saying, is to get people's attention. Sometimes they're not turning to the stuff that you like. I watch near death experience stories all day long. That's what I'm hooked on. When I read about the afterlife. I read quantum physics. I read philosophy. I read spiritual stuff. That's what I do. It's funny. My wife and I share a Kindle account. And Kindle keeps recommending books to me. I'm like, they've never gotten one right yet because I don't read novels. I don't read fiction. I don't have time. I'm more interested in finding out why I'm here, why you're here. What's our connection? What does this all mean? People tell us that had near death experiences, like you said, that everything comes together and everything makes sense. So I need to hear that over and over again. So I want to hear people that have actually had that experience.
If there's an injustice about a kid, I don't want to watch a movie about it, but I want the truth to be told. That
Right,
bothers me.
right,
I
right.
mean, I want the answer for that child. That I want the truth of. But I
Well,
don't want to watch a movie about it.
it's interesting because in the last couple of weeks, I watched 13 Lives about the kids that were trapped in the cave in Thailand.
Yeah,
But that was a story about how they overcame and how they were rescued.
yeah,
I watched the 5 days about the Hurricane Katrina, 5 days memorial, I think it was called. I watched that because I wanted to know what the truth was about that,
yeah.
about what happened there. But
I want answers
yeah,
and
but certain
justice
things,
things.
yeah, but certain things, like I said, with the true crime stuff, I'm just, I mean, people can do what they want, but we
I
have
don't
to
want
understand that
evil.
certain things raise our vibrations and other
Yeah.
things lower our vibration.
I don't want to
Um,
deal with evil.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so what we're trying to do with the summit and with the work that I do is help people to raise their vibration, to feel better about their life, to make sense of even the tragedies in our life. Like you and I, it's integrating that into our life, right? It's not saying that our children dying was a good thing by any means, or that it doesn't hurt us or it doesn't bother us, but what can we do with that? Where can we go from there? How can we use even that to maybe serve other people? I feel like my daughter and I, um, we're a team. We work together. That's why her picture is behind me. It was funny because when I was putting together my virtual background, the first one I used had a photograph there of someone else. Someone one day asked me, I was doing an interview. They said, "Is that your daughter?" And I got this message from Shane, and she's like, "That should be me." So I actually clipped her in, and this is my real office now. I not use a virtual screen anymore. But the first thing I did was like I put up a picture of Shayna, because Shayna is the purpose for everything that I do, and she's my inspiration.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's what I try to tell people. It's not that. it never hurts me. It's not that I don't ever do this,
Right, right.
but and along with my daughter, because you know that things affect them too. But I want to be able to move forward helping others, making a difference,
Hmm.
because that is what helping people sort of helps heal me.
It does. Yeah. I think that's maybe the last stage of healing. And I don't like stages when it comes to grief because there's no order to it. There's no timeline for it. But when you get to a certain point, I think in your grief, you're like, how can I use this? How can I transform this thing, which is the biggest thing in my life? How do I to use an old cliche, how do I make lemonade out of lemons? I've got this thing. I don't want it. I would give it back if I could, but I can't. So what can I do with it? And when I work with clients, and sometimes they'll say to me, well, will I ever be my old self again? And I'll say, no, I hope not. Why would you waste this pain that you've gone through? It's like it's a process. The Bible talks about the refining of gold. And it's like that you go through this flame and it burns away the dross. It burns away. You stop caring about meaningless things. You start wanting to have deeper conversations. You don't want to be superficial. It's a near. I tell people I haven't had a near death experience as in dying, but being so close to my daughter's death is my near death experience. That's what transformed my life. That's what made me into. I was a different person June 23rd, 2015 than I was June 25th, 2015. I became a different person.
It turns you into something real. It
Yeah,
turns you into something real.
it
Um,
can. You can. I've seen people get bitter. Honestly, I've seen people that just get bitter. But the people that we know are people who are saying, "I'm not going to let that happen to me. That I'm going to, being part of helping parents heal. It's in the name, helping parents heal." And we don't call ourselves grieving parents. We call ourselves shining light parents or
yeah,
bereaved parents. So we are like, okay, we start off as bereaved parents, but that's not where we're planning on staying. And if you come into the organization, it's like we want to help you heal. We're not here just to tell our story over and over again or feel sorry for ourselves. We do love to talk about our kids. I love to talk about my daughter because I carry her with me. So and if you study near death experience and you believe things are planned, it's like, okay, then it's like, well, why would this be planned? I wouldn't have planned this if it weren't for somebody's greater benefit. So for mine, for other people around me, um, and we can turn it into that. Whether you believe it's all planned or not, you can make it into something.
hey, Mark, Kropka and Gabriella. I would do it all over again with Noah. You know, I had to do a lot for him. I would do it all over again.
Yeah,
But his journey is not my journey.
yeah, that's another thing, hard thing to realize when you're a parent. Yeah.
And if it is amazing, which I know that look, it is we are not in the amazing. They are in the amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Would I want to take that away from them? No.
Yeah, and that's one of the really cool things when you understand what's going on. There's a lot of things that can complicate grief. If you think it's the end of that person's life and you're never going to see them again, that's the worst possible place to be. If you realize that they're not missing anything, because when our kids pass away, and I know Noah was young when he passed, and Shayna was 15, people tend to think, oh, they're missing things. Shayna was about to start driving. She was about to get her permit. She was so excited about that. She'll never have prom. She'll never go to, she'll never be married. We think about all those milestones that we love in this life, but that the other life is more fantastic than this life. So don't wish your kids back here. You wouldn't want to do that to them. They're in the place where we want to be.
They're in a place where they can do bazillion things we never can.
Right.
And look, Noah, we know for a fact on holidays and special occasions and when I'm the most down ever, he is making his toys do things, phenomenal things, things they're not even programmed to do. They're
Mhm.
saying that we know for a fact, are signs from him
Mhm.
that we've even been able to video. So,
Yeah.
and it's not anything woo woo juju hoo hoo. There have been things that have happened that I know that I know that I know
Mhm.
that are signs from my son, and I can feel him at times. So I don't want him here all the time trying to babysit me
Mhm.
when he has a universe of things he can be doing.
Mhm.
Why would I want that for him? Why?
Yeah, and so it's hard, as a parent because you want to be with your kids, right?
Yeah,
We want to be with our kids, and we can't. So it's like either, at the early days, I wanted to be with her. I wanted to cross and be with her.
yeah,
Uh,
same.
but I never wished her back because I knew that wouldn't be right. I never wished her back here. So what I go with now was like, okay, first of all, I will see her again, and the older I get, the faster time goes, so it won't be that long. And the second thing is, I know that she's still with me.
Yeah,
So it's not like I have to wait to see her again. I still communicate with her every day. I talk to her every day. She sends me incredible signs. I believe that we have a connection where she speaks to me all the time. I was talking with someone just before we got on here, and she was saying that when people cross over, we can talk to them, but they don't interact with us. And I'm like, that's
yeah, they
not really
do.
so true. They do interact with us. We just need to learn to still our own voice and to learn how to hear the way that they communicate with us because it's different than when they spoke to us face to face.
Yeah.
But they do communicate with us in lots of ways.
And if you resonate higher, you can still yourself and understand how it goes. It's when you stay in the low, dark space that it's so difficult for you to do it.
Yeah, that reminds my friend has a great analogy. It's like, imagine if you're old enough to remember Crisco, but a can of Crisco and there's a feather sitting on top of it. So a can of shortening. And the feathers can't get through it because it's solid. And that's
Yeah.
when your vibration is low. But if you raise your vibration, then they can more easily merge with us and the feather can get through it. So it's not that they're not trying to communicate with us. For example, signs. I think they're sending us signs all the time, but if your eyes aren't open to the signs, then you're either not going to see it at all, or you can think it's just a coincidence. I find dimes all the time now, but I told when my daughter passed away, I'm like, I want our sign to be dimes. And there's been specific occasions when I've found just a single dime, and I'll know because of the occasion and because it's a single dime that it's a sign from her.
I'm going to give you a perfect example. And this isn't a Noah example. This is my dog, my very clever dog example.
Uh huh.
She is looks like she's part Pyrenees, part Collie, part, um, I don't know. She's beautiful. She's got white and caramel orange colored hair. Sh but she's beautiful and she's super intelligent. She's still
Mm-hmm.
puppyish. So I'm sitting at my table. I wasn't that hungry, had a frozen waffle, and I had a bowl that had hard boiled eggs in it, right? I had to cut them up. And Eden's sitting to my left, and my vision is not very good in this eye because of MS. So I'm talking to Eden, and this dog, who's medium sized, quietly stands on her hind legs, quietly puts her front paws on the table, right beside me, mind you,
Mm-hmm.
and gets some boiled eggs. She's standing right beside me.
Mm-hmm.
Do not notice her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Medium dog right beside me.
Right. Right. Right.
I should have in- completely noticed her.
Mm-hmm.
That goes for the signs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's how could I not notice that dog?
Right. Right. Well, and I think our loved ones, and like I said, they send us signs in various ways. I don't know if I was just walking with someone the other day, and everybody in the neighborhood knows who I am and what it's about because I walk every day. And she's like, "My brother passed away, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. Am I going crazy?" And I'm like, "No, that's your brother communicating with you." But if you don't understand, and this is why it's important to understand what the signs are, to understand, ask for sign. It's okay to ask for signs. It's okay to say, "This is our sign," whether it's a cardinal or it's finding feathers or whether it's finding coins. Kind of establish that communication with your loved one on the other side. And I've heard of people getting miraculous results of asking for specific things. And my daughter does crazy stuff,
Hey,
with electronics, turning lights on and off, different things that are just like you wonder how they do them. And that's the thing that we can. And that's the kind of stuff that can actually help again to raise our vibration because it's like they're giving us little clues. I'm still there. I'm still involved. I still care about you. It's going to be okay. You know, because they know it's going to be okay. And for them, it's a very, very short period of time. So we don't have to worry about them missing us. For us, it seems longer. But again, the older that we get, the more we realize that this life is not very long. If it's another 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years, even, you think back 20 years ago, for most of us, it seems like it wasn't that long ago.
yeah, because time doesn't exist on the other side. It doesn't. And what is like a day over there is like a few seconds here, vice versa. I mean,
Right.
it's like a blink there could be like 10 years here.
Right. Right. That's what I've heard people that have had near death experiences. I've talked to some of them. Like, people say, "Well, how long were you there?" They're like, "It felt like it was about 3 years." It's like, well, you were dead for 10 seconds. So the time, it dilates, it varies. So you can get the clock there is not the same as the clock here.
And we created time here just because we needed to measure things.
Right. Right.
So, and that's what I wish more people would understand. Well, it felt like I talked to him, or I thought saw him, or they think they're going crazy and they dismiss so much stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm like, don't dismiss it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, people need, and that's why they need more conversations like this, so they don't feel alone. Because most people who've lost a very close loved one get some sort of communication with them. We know this from doing surveys of people. But what they don't do is communicate it to other people because they think it's not accepted. No, not they think it's not accepted in our society. So they hold it to themselves until you give them permission. Like, I'm out there. Everybody knows I've written. The woman that stopped me the other day, she's read my book. So that's why she wanted to ask me. She wouldn't ask somebody else because she thinks that they would think she's crazy. But she knows that I'm like, no, that's not crazy at all. That's great. That's a good thing, and you should encourage it, because you can still continue the relationship with your brother. And I said, speak to him just like you would speak to him if he was sitting in the room. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if you're comfortable speaking out loud, fine. It doesn't have to be out loud, but just talk to them in your head just like you would talk to them if they were there, because they are there. It's not if they were there, they are there.
Plus, everybody makes the conversation of um, death period taboo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So just the whole afterlife thing, they try to make it as well. You just want them back so bad that you're having these conversations,
Hmm.
which is a shame.
It is because, and I understand that to a certain extent. I guess I don't know if people don't want to be disappointed when they find out there is no afterlife, so they just assume there's not. There's also a materialism that's crept in our society. There's almost an arrogance with saying, "Well, I accept reality and that death is the end, and you don't. You're practicing wishful thinking." I can guarantee you, I am farthest person in the world from practicing wishful thinking. I have studied this for like 30, 40 years at this point. I've been studying, near death experiences, mediumship, again from a scientific perspective. Like Gary Schwartz has tested mediums, Julie Beischel has tested mediums, in the lab. People have done studies about near death experiences and tried to figure out what they are and where they came from. And there's no good explanation other than they're real. So It's not a matter of wishful thinking, but our society has become so enamored with science that we've said anything I can't measure, anything I can't prove must not exist, which is crazy. It's really it is a fundamental uh, belief. It's a belief system to say that everything is material, and it's just as much a belief system as saying that everything is consciousness. But there's a lot more evidence for thinking that everything is consciousness as opposed to everything is material.
Yeah, because if you pick up any item and put it under a high powered microscope, it's vibrating.
Hmm.
Everything is a bunch of little atoms and molecules vibrating.
Well, we've been trying to break it down to the smallest possible particle. So when I was in school 1 million years ago, it was the atom, and now then we're like, well, atoms are made up of quarks and neutrinos and whatever, all these other particles and stuff. And now they're come down and say, well, really, everything is made up of these tiny vibrating strings, and the strings are just energy. They're not even material.
Yeah,
So if you take that to the take that all the way up, that means everything is not material. It's all an illusion. So as you said, the only reason why this microphone that's in front of me appears solid is because the molecules of my fingers interact with it. But you actually never really touch anything when you get down to that level. And so all of this is just vibrating energy.
yeah,
Um,
which is amazing.
it's really amazing. It's truly amazing. And I've been having more and more lucid dreams lately. And sometimes in my dream, I'll realize I'm dreaming and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I've created this in my head. It seems real. I can touch things. I can hear people talking. I don't know what that person's thinking, even though they're a character in my dream. And that's how I believe that's how this is. When we die, and you know this better than I do, it's like waking up from a dream. It's like, oh, this is reality. I forgot because I was dreaming when I was in the world. I thought that was real, but when people come back from their death experiences, they say, no, that's real. That's real. This isn't real.
And you know how when you're in a lucid dream, you can kind of change things?
Mm-hmm.
When you go over there, you can do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny because my daughter Shayna, and I didn't know most of the stuff I know now when she was here, but I always just say to her, Shayna, you didn't fully incarnate. You're not like fully baked because she hated gravity. She would just lay over all the time. If she was sitting next to me, she'd be, leaning on me. She wanted me to carry her upstairs. She was 15 years old, and I would still carry upstairs every once in a while. She was fascinated with flying. She said, I want to fly and I want to have a tail. And I'm like, Shayna, you're a human being. You can't fly. You can't have a tail. But she was always had that connection to the other side. I don't believe she ever fully incarnated.
Uh, I don't think I did either because I would always dream about flying when I was young, and I could literally feel the pressure against my body
Mm-hmm.
like I was
Mm-hmm.
flying when I was young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did
When I
too. I don't have flying dreams much anymore, but I have flying dreams for a long time. I still have every once in a while. So it's
so,
weird that's a very. I interviewed a woman that did sleep studies. Flying is a very common dream, and you think about it. Why would people dream about flying if we've never been able to do it? Why would we dream about that?
I know feel the pressure and be able to change, feel you moving up and down, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't literally feel the shift in space,
Mm-hmm.
and I would wake up feeling definitely that I could fly
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
every day, and this would go on for years.
Yeah.
I would jump off things fully expecting to fly.
No, really.
Dangerous.
Yes. Some kids do that. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it to this moment, but some kids do that. They'll jump off of a barn roof, for example, and fully expect to be able to fly. Um, so I think that's a memory. I think that's a memory of what we can do when we're there.
Yeah. Sheila's one, Steve saying Michaela still talks to him, but it's only been a couple of months, two
Mm,
and a half months or so.
yeah,
But
yeah,
she's been guiding him a lot. He's very spiritual, very connected. So yeah,
yeah. Staying open to that is really good. I mean, it it's I think I said this earlier. I was talking with someone. We were talking about signs, and she goes, "It doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it easy." I said, "It doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier." So keep that communication with with your daughter. Be open to the signs that she sends you, and remember that she's still with you. It's like I was just at a wedding of my nephew a couple of weeks ago, and whenever I go to family events, I'm thinking about Shayna, and I'm thinking, I wish she could be here, but then she sent me a sign. I was sat in the pew at the church, and right in front of me, under the pew in front of me, there was a dime on the floor, and I was like, okay, this is her sign that she's here. And when we go to events, my other daughter, and my wife and I will say, well, Shayna's not going to miss this. Shayna's going to be there. So we feel like we're taking her along with us. So that does help.
We'll do something and I'll end up getting a feather or something will occur
Hmm.
that will let me know Noah's round.
Yeah, yeah, and so you look for those things. And it's a long story, but I was at the Helping Parents Heal conference a couple of weeks ago, and so my daughter went with me, and my wife was with me, and I spoke at the conference, and a whole series of synchronicities happened on the way back. And it was like Shayna just like, okay, you didn't think I was going to miss this, did you? Because we were there for like 6 days, and then at the end of the sixth day, I was like, oh, she didn't really show up, but then boom, as soon as we left the conference, it's like on the way back home, several things happened, like all like right in a row that were just crazy.
I hope to make it to one of those. But yeah, you're going to have to come on more often. I was telling them that I found it interesting to me in helping parents heal all deaths are traumatic and painful and they hurt.
Hmm.
But I have found in what I have seen, it seems to me that losing a child or parents that have lost a child, I would say more often than not, those losses bring more experiences of signs that I have
Yeah.
seen with others.
Yeah, people that lose spouses have really strong connections sometimes, and they'll get a lot of signs and a lot of even apparitions. Um, but the thing about a parent-child relationship, especially a mother, well, even a mother or a father, they're literally part of your body.
Yeah,
And when your child is in your body, they leave cells in the mother's body that are there forever. So your body is permanently changed. And when our kids go back to the other side, a piece of us goes with them. We keep them alive in our memories and stuff, but a piece of us goes with them when we lose a piece of ourselves. It feels like that anyway. So I think that the parent child thing is, and because it's out of order, because we're always older than our kids, and we assume that we're supposed to go first, right? They're supposed to live long lives, and we're supposed to go first. So there's all kinds of reasons why we need them even more. And I think this is not my quote, it's a Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want, but you sometimes get what you need. And I believe we get the signs that we need. Excuse me. So sometimes the signs will start to fade after a while. I was talking with a woman. Her husband had passed away. She had amazing signs from this guy. I mean, just crazy. She actually wrote a book about it. And she goes, the last couple of years, I haven't really gotten that many signs. And I said, well, do you feel like your husband's with you? She goes, oh, yeah, I feel like he's with me all the time. I'll be driving sometimes and I feel like he's taking the wheel. He's like working through my body. And I said, well, maybe because you feel like he's with you all the time, that's why you don't need the signs as much anymore. And she's like, yeah, I think that's what it is.
good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, because we still have our own lives to live here. We still have our missions to complete. It's kind of like why the veil's there in the first place. Why we don't remember who we are. Because if we did, we could never get anything done. We would all we do is lay around all day dreaming about going home. So there's a reason for the veil. There's a reason why we don't have direct communication. because it would interfere. It's like the Star Trek Prime Directive, right? When they would come to alien places, they'd say we can't change, we can't interfere with their way of life. So our loved ones are there to guide us, send us little signs, say we're okay, you're okay. I look at it, I think of it, it's like, okay, we're like toddlers. We're learning how to walk. So if you're a parent and your child's learning how to walk, if you're always holding their hands, they're never going to learn how to walk. You have to
True.
let them fall sometimes. You have to let go of their hands. You have to watch them, make mistakes. And that's what it's like when we're in this world. We're like toddlers. When we graduate, everything opens up. We remember who we are. We remember the big picture. We get all the answers. But when we're here, we don't have all that, and we're here to figure it out. So um, we can't. It's not. They're not there to just be our crutch. So they're not there for us to just rely on all the time. Now, again, that's cause sometimes people say, "Well, I don't want to bother them because they're busy doing their own thing," but they can also multitask. So you don't have to worry about bothering them because they can be more than one place at a time. So for parents that say, "Oh, I don't want to bother them," yeah, you can talk to them just like you would talk to them here. Um, so but we'll see them again. They're with us now. That's what keeps me going, is that I know that I'll see her again, and I want her to be proud of me. I know that I'm going to hear it if I don't do a good job, because I think we have a contract, right? So we agreed to do this.
I'm proud of all you're doing. I mean, I respect and admire you. And you were one of the first people I met when I got over to helping Parents Heal and your wife. And I don't know, you have been like, how do you say it? If you have to meet somebody in a club, you're like a brother that you're trying to follow suit with, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. I feel like our family is like what was put here for a reason. I was talking to my older daughter the other day, and I said, I know it's hard, losing your sister and going through what you've gone through. I said, but we have responsibility. That we have a job to do. We have a mission. So I view it that way, and I feel like everything in my life has led me to this point. My grandfather was a pastor. He was a speaker. He wrote books, and I've always felt that drive. But I knew I didn't want to be a pastor, but I always felt like, okay, there's something that I'm supposed to be doing. And so when Shayna passed away, it's kind of like, okay, here's the thing you're supposed to be doing. This is what everything has trained you for. This is why I had a sales career for as long as I did, even though I was an extremely shy person. But it taught me to do public speaking, which I'm doing now. I built websites and stuff, so I do my YouTube channel. So everything, when you look at your life, it's interesting. You can see the design, but you can't see it when you're going forward. You know, when you get fired from that job, you think it's like, this is the worst thing ever. Why did this happen? But 10 years later, you'll figure out why you lost that job. When you get divorced, it might feel like this is a terrible thing. But, 15, 20 years later, you'll figure out how that marriage, even though it was a quote failure, made you a stronger person.
Yeah.
So all these things. And so the thing is, when we lose someone, uh, that's like the ultimate, right? That's the thing we say, well, there can't be any good in this. And that's the big test. That's the one where it's like, what can you do with this? And I was talking to a woman one day. She was like in her mid 80s, and she had lost everybody. Obviously, her parents, her brothers, sisters, and she just lost the love of her life. And she's living alone. And she goes, "Why am I still here?" And I said, "I can't really answer that directly." I said, "But if you imagine your mother's still there with you and your father's still with you there, and the love of your life you just lost, they're still with you. And maybe you decide to say, I'm going to see if I can do this alone at this point in my life." And I said, and you don't know who you're touching. You don't know who's watching you, who's looking at you for inspiration. Just by living, just by continuing to go forward, we touch people in ways that we can't imagine. Everybody here has a purpose, and I tell people, if you're here, you have a reason to be here, and
Yeah.
figure out what that is. And it doesn't mean you have to have a podcast or you have to write a book, or it could just be being a parent to your other children, and being an example for how to walk through grief. Um, being nice to someone in the grocery store. You know, people have near death experiences. When they do the life review, it's not the quote big things that they get excited about. It's like when I said hi to that homeless person, I looked them in the eye, you know, and gave them $20. That lit them up for that day. You know, that's the kind of stuff that makes a difference.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing this whole thing, um, this summit that's going on, and it's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to give the URL because we haven't done that. So it's people can register for free.
Okay, let
So
me
it's
put that in
trauma.
chat.
Yeah, we can put it in chat. It's traumarecoverysummit.com, and then it's slash Brian Brian. And as I said, it's free to sign up. It starts October 6th, so just go ahead and sign up. I'm really excited. But we've been working really hard on it for the last couple of months, so it should be cool.
Trauma Recovery Summit.
.com/Brian. Yep, that's it exactly.
Okay, good. And I'll make sure that I put it also down. Let me write it down in my so I can make sure I write it underneath the video.
Yeah.
And the
I
dates are what?
October 6th through the 9th. So it starts about a week from the day, I guess. So I appreciate you having me back. It's good to see you again. Hopefully, what we're doing is helping someone. That's what it's all about, is helping each other.
You have a free invitation here anytime.
Oh
But
yeah,
and
appreciate it.
I'm sorry for the short notice asking. I just got overly excited when I saw it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it too. I'm going to be doing more stuff like this. I think this is the first one of these type of events I do. But I spoke at Helping Parents Heal a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to be speaking at Helping Parents Heal next Saturday for the online group. Not Helping Parents Heal. I'm sorry, IANS. I'm speaking at IANS next week.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be glad to come back anytime and talk to you.
And if you ever need extra healing, people or hypnosis or anything, just chat me up.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
But everybody, please give Brian Smith some love. If you need, anybody that wants to get some trauma recovery, please send them to this URL for Brian to
Yeah.
learn about it.
The other thing is you can go to my website, Grief 2 Growth. So it's grief, the number 2 growth.com. If anybody wants to reach out to me there, and I do offer free half-hour consultations if you want to book one of those with me.
And look, I think the world of Brian. He is the best. I highly recommend. Please go to his YouTube. Please, please, please. So many wonderful interviews. You will enjoy them. A lot of near death experiences, etc. Please go to his YouTube.
All right. Cool, Dana.
But anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah, good seeing you.
You too. I appreciate you more than you know.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Everybody give Brian some love. And I
Thanks,
guess
everybody.
we are going to go out. I kept you long enough. You know, time goes fast on this channel.
Yeah, that's the thing about time, right? It's even malleable here. Sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it goes slow.
That's right. So I'm going to play us on out with our Go song.
Nice.
Take it easy. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Bye,
Even when you feel
everybody.
low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you
Bye,
can still
Brian.
go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Go,
If you want to buy a coffee, you can do so. MiraclesFairCharter.net. I will see everybody tomorrow night.
Hustle hard, hustle every single day.
Thank you, and thank you in the pushes.
To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing
Or you
shit
can buy a coffee at, let me remember,
and in the driveway is a nice range.
Dear Dana, 1111 at Cash App.
You never hear me, bitch, nah.
Do you want to stay on and talk?
Just gotta flip the switch and you can go
Okay,
and
we can
obtain
stay on and talk a
anything
minute.
you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the
We can stay on and talk a minute. But then I gotta go because I tired. I tired, girl. I didn't sleep last night. What does everybody think about this? Don't you love Brian? We can talk a minute. Brian is an awesome guy. I highly recommend. I highly recommend trying to go to this trauma summit. My vision is going in and out, y'all. Today, my vision is going in and out. Brian is a wonderful guy. His YouTube is Grief, the number two growth. Grief, the number two growth. I met him right after I lost Noah from helping parents heal. So, yeah, he's an excellent human. I adore him. He's been on once before, and he's written a book. Trust me, when you get signs, they are real signs. And he just confirms a lot of the stuff that I tell you about what I've experienced. You're going to be making my Scottish come out in a minute. My Scottish background's about to slip out, you all, because I'm so tired. My Scottish is coming out because I've only had about 2, 3 hours of sleep, you know. My Scottish is slipping out. But he is a wonderful soul. Yes, I'm going to put up the details on the community tab that he gave me. But if you have not subscribed to Brian, please do. We will have him back another time. If you have dealt with trauma, please try to go to the summit. Invite your friends if they've had a lot of trauma. You get a lot of networking details. You will get a lot of things to help you deal. And see, we do the energy healing here. Some people might not deal or believe in the energy healing, but trust me. So glad to have you on here, Gabrielle. Here. Trust me, the energy healing is real. It's a real thing. Why do you think I already glow? I glow even bigger when I'm doing it. I glow even bigger when I'm doing it. It's a real thing. Shoeless one is starting to glow too himself when he's doing it. He's starting to get the glow on. He's getting the glow on. The glow is starting to happen. It's a real thing, you know. One day I'm going back to my homeland, Scotland. You'll see me in my own kilt. The girls wear kilts. I don't think. I don't know. I'm so glad, Rita Donovan. But now you see what eventually gets us through. It doesn't mean the pain isn't there, but that is what gets us through. It's not a woo-woo thing. It's real. It's real. It's very real. Oh, I'm sorry, Sheila, when you're not getting. Yeah, I liked your kilt. You're not getting your rest. But I hope some of you go to this. I hope some of you go to this. Look at this thing. If you had to pay for it, trust and believe it would cost lots of money to go to the summit. It would cost lots of money. It's an amazing thing being offered. It is, it is, it is. But listen, as much as I love you all, I'm having a mighty hard time seeing, even with my glasses. Even with these glasses, I'm having a difficult time seeing. Hello, unapologetically, Romeo. It has been so long since I've seen you. What the hell? What's the hell? I need all my people to come back. I'm probably going to talk about a case tomorrow because there's this case of this little kid. They said that he unlifed himself. And I think there's a police cover up. I don't think. I pretty much feel that, in my opinion, there's a police cover up on this case. And I need my smart, loving souls to think about this and get the word out, because I think there is a police cover up on this. There's no way this precious, happy kid did this. There's no way this precious, happy kid did this. I think there is a police cover up. I'm not liking it. I'm not going to do anything macabre, but I think all the loving, happy light workers in here, I think there is a police cover up about this kid, and I do not like it at all. I am so sorry, unapologetically, Romeo. My love and heart goes out to you. I am so sorry. Oh, good. Yes, I'm sorry about the loss of your husband, but it is real. It is real. Sending love and light and hugs to you unapologetically, Romeo. I will be going on tomorrow. I'm probably going to go on earlier, so I'm not clashing with other creators. I'm probably going to go on earlier, so I'm not clashing with other creators. Probably going to go on earlier. Probably going to try for 7:30. How does that sound to the community? Probably going to go on 7:30. I'm going to aim for that. Probably going to aim for 7:30. Love you too, Rita Donovan. Please like and subscribe. Share if you want. Get the word out about this. Look, please get the word out about this video. If you've never shared or got the word out about any video, this one is important. This one is important. Share about the Trauma Summit. This one is important for people. This one is important for people. It is, it is, it is. This one is important for people. I'm good. I just can't see well today because I didn't have enough sleep. It affects my vision. So everything's real. I'm looking through a cloud. I'm looking through a cloud. It's like being drunk at 3 a.m. and everyone looks good now. If I wasn't married, all the guys in the bar would look good right about 3 a.m. right now. It'd be like being drunk in a bar at 3 a.m. All the guys would look good. You get what I'm saying? It'd be like being drunk in a bar at 3 a.m. All the guys would look good right now. My vision sucks at the moment. My vision sucks at the moment. I just couldn't sleep. Look, it's that damn, that damn hurricane that hit the coast. It's affecting my body. The barometric pressure affects me. So my legs wouldn't let me sleep, and now my vision sucks. I am a human barometer. I am a human barometer. It's true. Me, a show at 7 a.m.? Are you kidding me? I would not do a show at 7 a.m. Are you joking? You're making Dana Kelly come out right now. I paid somebody to do a banner for me, and I have to tell you, I told them what words I wanted on the banner, what I wanted the banner to represent for this channel, and all they put was, "Dear Dana, your vibe attracts your tribe." Should that be all the banner says? I'm wondering. I thought it was supposed to tell what the channel is about. So the guy I paid to do the banner just put "Dear Dana" with the butterfly or the moth and put "Your vibe attracts your tribe." The background looks a little slicker, but what do you think? You didn't do butterflies. Don't know what to do. I got to get it done quick, and I just paid for this sucker. Uh, Oof. That's all I can say is oof. I'm not paying no more money. Not paying any more money. Frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated. I got to get her done. You don't always get what you want. Don't always get what you want. I know. So tired of dealing with all this stuff, trying to fix my channel. Trying to fix my channel. I'm having to take off, edit every bit of the last song. YouTube sent my channel back. The song on my outro on almost 200 videos, I'm having to remove on almost 200 videos. The song on my outro, I'm having to remove. Oh, do you know how long that takes? Yeah. So anyway, no wonder my eyes are like this. But I love all you so much, so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing Brian again. He is a good, good human, as is his wife and his daughter, and is his angelic daughter as well. Yes, a very long time, Shelley. A very long time. But I love all of you so much. I hope I see you tomorrow night, probably at 7:30ish Eastern. I'll put the link for the summit under the video. Have you watched The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? Why, hell no. Oh, let me tell you, before I go, Miss Shelley Marie had a very good idea. Miss Shelley Marie had a very good idea to look at documentaries, not the yucky one, not the murder one. To look at some documentaries or some shows and see if there's an ongoing documentary or something that us as a channel would like to watch and talk about as a channel. We can take a poll. A show, a series, or a documentary that we'd like to watch as a channel and break it down and talk about. Excellent idea. Let's think about it and do it. Have fun with it. Other people can jump in and do it if they want to, but that would be fun. So let's think about it and do it. It can be a series or a documentary. We can take a poll. But that's an excellent idea, Miss Shelley. Great, But in the meantime, I'm going to go before I can't see you. But I'll see you tomorrow night. Love you all. Thank you for being here. And thank you in the bushes. Please like, subscribe, and share. It's a very important video about the Trauma Summit. So many people need it, and it's free, free, free. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Take care. Here we go. Go, go, go.
The ingredient is belief. Build a seed with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like
Hi,
some battle in
everybody.
your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just